let's talk about Christy Lynn Shelton. Okay, Christy was just really a month shy of being 32 years old when she passed away on February the 1st, 2008. Now, at the time, her death was ruled a suicide, and her and Casey were living together. Now, I really haven't looked deeply into this case. However, we have heard from her daughter, and now her brother is also speaking out. Her brother has just started speaking out, to my knowledge, yesterday. So we're going to talk about what her brother has said, because he too used to stay with Christy and Casey quite a lot when he was 17 years old. You may have already heard her daughter speak out about this case on her TikTok channel. Her daughter wanted this case reopened as well.
Journey to seeking answers on her mother's death started in 2020. She said it's when she learned about Casey White's 2020 confession of Connie Ridgway's death that occurred in 2015. Shelton's daughter said she and her family knew something wasn't right with how her mother died, and says White was with Shelton on the night of her death, February 1st, 2008. Shelton also said her mother was a, quote, fighter, and doesn't, quote, think she would have given up that easily, end quote. Shelton's daughter said, quote, things were looking up, end quote, despite the challenges Shelton faced. Her daughter's drive to seek answers for her mother was also because she believed, quote, no one's ever really stood up for mom, end quote. Shelton's daughter said she then reached out to Limestone County investigators during the summer of 2020 and says they have reopened the case. She said she hopes that when people ask her what happened to her mom, it's not a, quote, long dragged out, I'm not really sure, end quote, situation, and to, quote, lay her head down at night knowing that my mom wasn't afraid, end quote. She also wishes that, quote, Casey would speak up about what happened in a clear state of mind if he didn't do it, end quote.
Christy's brother's name is Tyler, and I'm not going to say his last name on here. Christy had 3 daughters at the time of her death. Her family does not believe that she would have ever taken her own life. They say they did not believe it then, and they don't believe it now. At the time of Christy's death, her and Casey had been dating for about a year. And as I said, Tyler was 17 years old at the time, and he was really close to his sister Christy. And he did stay with her and Casey almost every weekend. He said she was so happy, and she told me that she was the happiest she had ever been in her life when they were together. I did like him, he said. He would drink with me. I just thought he was cool. It was like a little brother and a big brother situation. You see, Christy struggled with drug use. This is what Tyler said. And he said she made bad choices in the men that she dated. She adored her 3 little girls, and they ranged at that time from the ages of a toddler to a young teen. But they were taken away from her while she was still dating Casey. Tyler explained that during a CPS visit, social workers had saw Casey's guns in the home, and that was including the sawed-off shotgun. The 3 girls were taken from her custody, and it absolutely devastated her. Tyler said after that, she was just crumbling. I do recall her saying that she wanted to kill herself, but I just knew that she would never do that. He said that him and Christy had a conversation about what needed to be done for her to get her girls back. He said that is all she wanted more than anything. She was absolutely heartbroken. My sister was rough around the edges, and she picked the wrong guys, but she was a wonderful person, and her heart was huge. She was never involved in anything malicious. She cared about her kids a lot, and she took care of them. She knew that she had to dump Casey. She had to leave him if she ever wanted to get her kids back. My theory is that she told him that night that she wanted to break up, and he couldn't handle it. But investigators at the time said that there was absolutely no blood found on Casey or his clothes, and reported to the family that Casey did appear very distraught over Christy's death. Tyler said he could have easily showered that off and changed his clothes. I think he might have fooled him that night. The police said he was crying and very hysterical, and I don't doubt that one bit because I know he can turn it on. He is a master manipulator. Tyler went on to say that the case was closed quickly as a suicide, but the family has never felt that is what really happened, saying that it was just all too much. A woman killing herself with a sawed-off shotgun? I never thought that it rang true from the very beginning. She didn't even know how to use a gun, honestly. And then when he saw Casey in the news in connection to the crime spree of 2015, he immediately thought about his sister's death and Casey's possible involvement in it. He said, I thought they really should open the case back up with Christy, but we didn't bring it back up. We figured it was just too long gone. We had just avoided it. It was like opening old wounds. But then Casey made the news again when he came forward and confessed to the 2015 murder of 59-year-old Connie Ridgway. Now, with this one, he was charged with capital murder, as we said, and that is set to go to trial next month. This most recent event is what made the family reach back out to Limestone County investigators about Christy's death, and Christy's daughter started posting about her mother on social media. When they reached out to Limestone County, a spokeswoman for the Limestone County Sheriff's Office did confirm that investigators are re-examining Christy's death, but really would not elaborate. Tyler said that I would love to see him either admit this or the investigators could possibly exhume her body and do another autopsy. I want to see further investigation. We haven't gotten over it, and that is a big part of it. We need closure. There's not really enough solid details at this time in this particular case for me to be able to voice a adequate thought or opinion on it. So I'm just going to bring you the detail from her brother and, of course, her daughter that you heard, and that's really all I can do at this point. However, with this case being open again, as details do come about in it, I will be bringing them to you. Do you have any thoughts or opinions on this case yet? If so, drop them below. Let me know what you think. Rest in peace, Christy, and to her family, I am so sorry for your loss, and I hope someday you do get the closure that you are searching for in some way. Thank you all so much for listening, and until next time, this is Unjustified.